Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Gamers Lounge podcast. My name is John Meadows. With me as always, Eric, Nathaniel, and Robert. What's going on, fellas?
Nothing much.
Yeah,
I'm here. We made it work.
yeah.
not
Well, yeah,
broken.
that's all right. I mean, it happens. It wouldn't be. It honestly, it wouldn't be a show if we didn't have some kind of little weird technical issue at the beginning. So it's all good here. We're all fine here. Situation normal.
It's all fine.
It's all
Everything's
fine.
normal.
Everything's fine. Everything's good. So we're all good. It's all right. I mean, it happens.
Everything's just on fire. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. No big deal. It's just burning down. We'll be okay. But it's all fine. No worries. I mean, it happens. I mean, and it's like I say, if it wouldn't be a show if we didn't, start a few minutes late and have some issues and this and that. So I mean, it's all good. So, but we're always here just to talk about video games anyway. So, it's not like anybody's in a real big hurry about that or anything. I don't reckon, are they? I mean,
No.
no.
Gamers are patient.
Yeah, everybody's patient and understanding. Nobody trolls. Nobody points out anything. It's just all good and hunky dory and smiles
That's
and
just
rainbows.
the internet at large.
Oh
Everyone's
yeah,
great on
I mean
internet.
the internet is a great fountain of joy and lovingness that everybody just gets along and there's no issues and. But anyway,
Back to reality.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say about that.
yeah. Anyway, I don't know where to go from there. I did a poor job of setting that up. It's like, but anyway, we'll talk
Good
about
segue, John.
Yeah, I know, right? Not only
Plus.
I backed myself in a bad corner there. It was bad. So, but anyway, we'll talk about what we've been playing and what we've been doing gaming wise. So, I was going to start with Robert, but I see he's been working. That stinks.
No one
Yeah,
likes
no,
that
I played just a little bit of the Octopath Traveler.
Yeah.
Not enough to really comment.
Did you play the prologue demo or did you start the game?
That's what I've been playing.
Okay,
Yeah, the prologue. I started with the warrior guy, whatever his name was, and it's pretty. I'm really digging the backgrounds,
Yeah.
the old school feel. Combat so far seems really fun. I have not spent enough time with it to really get into the combat or even see what the world has to offer. I'm still in the very first scene area.
Yeah.
It had me going around poking fights with some of the locals. That was fun.
Right.
I have a
Yeah.
question. How blurry does it look to you?
It looks fuzzy.
Are you
That's
playing
looks
the
just-
fuzzy.
one thing I
Just in
did not like
handheld?
about the old demo.
Well, but
handheld or on the screen, it's just the treatment that
It just seemed
filters and stuff
hazy.
they put
Like
on it.
like it
It's
was a
very
decision they
hazy.
made.
The sprites on the pixels are very kind of blurry.
Yeah.
Because of,
Yeah.
and
Well-
they could have the same number of pixels, but make it sharper, even on the Switch. That's the thing I did not like about the demo before. It was making my eyes hurt.
I think that was the style they were going for. It's kind of unfocused,
That's
but
what I'm saying.
there's
That's
a
my understanding.
there's a setting in the options menu. I haven't tried it yet because I haven't actually jumped into the game. I got it, but I haven't played it yet. That you can like change that to make it a little less fuzzy. It's still
Less
technically
grainy?
fuzzy. Yeah, it's still kind of fuzzy, but it's not
Make
as
it sharp,
harsh.
man.
Yeah, I mean that's the style they were
I
going
wish
for.
the
I mean.
background could be a little
Because-
bit less fuzzy. Like,
Well,
I
and
get
that's one of the things this setting does. And I don't have my
Yeah.
Switch down here, so I can't speak to it.
Because
But
to
I
me,
remember reading
like,
something about
Your
it.
art style is crap if you're making it blurry. Like I have bad eyesight. That's no, don't do that to me. Man.
Maybe it looks normal to me because I have bad eyesight. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't look that bad to me. I
little
play
bit of
with
course
my
correction for
well.
you.
I usually play with my glasses off, and I kind of hold the thing a little close. So maybe I don't notice it as bad without my glasses on. But I haven't played it on a big TV either. So I don't know. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people like the art style of it, though. I mean, I do too. I like
the
the
art style is cool. I just wish the treatment didn't make it blurry.
Yeah.
I like the music
ruined
better
it
than
for
the
me in
art
that
style.
demo.
Yeah, I do
I'm
too.
really
The-
impressed with the music so
Yeah.
The
far.
music is really good,
That's
but
cool.
I know that blurred art style is kind of the look that they were going for because I haven't played the it's the same people that did the Brave Default or Bravely Default game or whatever, and it was
It's
kind of like
Square,
that
yeah.
too. Yeah.
Well, they're trying to do a little bit of a tilt shift look, but that still has something sharp that you're focused on, whereas everything seems kind of blurry for it, at least in the old demo. That's why I was wondering if it still looked like
I
that.
haven't tried it
Or
on the
what?
big screen yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't either. So,
I- couple local guys have it, and they seem to really like it. They even said, "Well, I might like it." So I said, "Well, we'll see." Backlog's pretty heavy right now, but maybe.
yeah, I
Is
like
it a new
the.
headset, Eric?
It is.
Okay.
It's
So.
pretty blue.
It's pretty blue and it's big. It's a lot bigger than what he
Mm-hmm.
usually has. That's why.
Nice Logitech headset. Yeah.
Makes his head look thinner. More trim.
That's the look I'm going for.
That's
It's
he's
because
going
it's
for it.
squeezing
All right,
it. It
hang
actually
on.
is thinner. It's very got lots and lots of pressure there.
It makes his head look thinner.
Put down show
Swimming
titles.
headset.
Got one in the running.
Yep. I got to write this down before I forget it. That was great. All right. Carry on.
As you were, gentlemen.
Yeah. But no, I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I bought it, man, Friday when I came home. I was out of town for work, so Tuesday Shining Force came, or Shining Resistance came, and then Friday was Captain Toad and Octopath, and so like I came home and had like 3 or 4 games stacked up just like that. So it's like now I don't know what to play.
So many choices.
Just
for the
start
world.
one. You'll be good.
Well, and that's the other thing is we got a review code for Cosmic Star Heroine while I was gone, so I downloaded it in the hotel and started playing it, and it's a 16-bit style retro RPG that is like Phantasy Star or one of those older Genesis titles, and I just absolutely love it. So I'm sitting here. Now it's like, well, crap. Now I'm playing this, and I got 3 new games, and one of them is a Japanese RPG that just came out that I really should play, but I'd rather play this because I've already started it. Yeah, but that game is flipping fantastic. It is really cool. But I hear it's not really long. It's kind of in the like 15 to 20 hour range or something like that for an RPG.
Still plenty
So-
long.
yeah, well, I mean, it's not 100 hours like Octopath could be. So it's
Yeah,
like,
but if it's 100 hours of mediocre, I'd rather play 20 hours of excellent.
oh,
than that,
absolutely,
right? So
absolutely. So
That's
So-
still quite a bit.
yeah, so that's probably what I'm going to play before I play Octopath. Is I'm going to finish Cosmic Star Heroine because, like I say, that game is really cool. It just so reminds me of Phantasy Star, or there's a couple other Sega Genesis RPGs that it really reminds me of, and I can't put my finger on which one it is, but it's very very Phantasy Star-ish, and I really like that. And the other thing that I've been playing a little bit of Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker today. Even though I have that on the Wii U, I bought it on the Switch too because I like that game so much. It's one of those games that I'll be like, oh, let me do a map or two before I go to bed, just real quick.
Seems like a really good handheld game.
Yeah, and it is.
Yeah.
It is very much more handheld than it is on the big screen, because what I found out is when you played it on Wii U, you had the touch screen to do certain things. Well, when you play the Switch version on the TV, you don't have the touch screen anymore. So you have to use your gyroscoping pointy thing with the actual controller. So if it's something that you need to touch, you have to make sure your controller's aimed in the right direction to touch and hold this button and move it down and up.
Sounds obnoxious.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Is there
Handheld,
no option to do something different than
I
that?
don't know. I'll be honest with you, I hadn't looked at it. I just happened to play it in tabletop last night and went, what is this dot on the screen moving around while I'm moving my controller? I'm like, oh crap, this is one of those maps where you have to touch this to make it move down and touch this to make it move up, and you can't do it without pointing your controller at it. And then it's like, ah, crap, I don't like that. So I immediately went back to handheld mode and started using the touch screen and stuff. So I don't know how else you would do it, because like I say, there's so many things in that game that you actually have to touch to move. The one level you have to touch a crank and take your finger and spin it to turn it. So I can just imagine you sitting there with the controller going.
Oh God.
And,
Yeah, so
Is it mostly objects that you're moving around?
yes,
in that game?
yeah, and
That's
it's usually it's just up or down. I mean, it's never like you don't have to move the thing from
Yeah.
point A to point B. It's mostly just touch it and move it up, touch it, move it down, or whatever. Like I said, there's that rare occasion with the crank that you had to walk up and touch, and then you take your finger and spin, which it worked fine on the Wii U because you had the touch screen on your controller. So it's just like, oh, no big deal. I can just do
So
this.
is the problem because you're doing these things independent of where Captain Toad is on the screen?
No, sometimes. Well, it depends on the movement. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Like the screw thing, the turning the wheel thing. You actually have to walk up, stand on the wheel, and then turn it. Which I don't know how that worked with the controller
Because
because
if
I
it
was
was
using
all direct
handheld.
interactions from the character, you'd figure you could map that to stuff fairly easily. But if you're doing something with the character over here and then you're using the touchscreen to do something over here, I can see how that would be difficult
Yeah.
to kind of adapt.
And I don't know. Like I say, I didn't dive into the options to see if there was a way to like turn that off or change. I don't know. It kind of struck me as. It kind of caught me off guard when I was playing it because I was playing handheld, and I'm like, oh well, let me just stand it on the stand and use the Pro Controller for a little while, and then that dot popped up. I'm like, oh crap, what is that? Oh man. So I don't know. I'll mess around with it and see, if it's any different in the thing. It's still a cool game, but it's like, yeah, I think this is a better handheld game than it is a TV game or something on the TV. Of course, that may be where your two-player aspect comes in with two Joy-Cons, because maybe player 2 can point at those things and move them down while whoever's controlling Captain Toad doesn't have to worry about things like that. But I haven't tried two-player, so I don't know if, what that entails. So, but I mean, it looks just like the Wii U version. It plays just like the Wii U version. Other than these weird, but I think it's a better in handheld mode than it is on the TV, at least so far.
Yeah, it looks like it was intended to be a handheld game.
Yeah.
Like it's done in stages, right? So
Yeah.
it's just perfect for commuting or
Well,
Yeah.
isn't there
a
like
little bit here, a little bit there.
Yeah.
Isn't there what?
Didn't they do the 3DS version too?
Yeah, they did, and
Yeah.
I hear a lot of good things about the 3DS version. But there was those. But that was the thing that I really didn't think about with the Switch version. I was like, oh yeah, there's that second screen touch stuff. It never really crossed my mind until I started playing it with the Pro Controller, and I'm like, oh man. So one thing I hate, I don't like to have to do things. It's like playing Uncharted, and then you're crossing a log, and you have to take your controller, and I have to hold it all.
Yeah, well, that's just the first one, thankfully.
Yeah, I know. It's
Then
like,
I realized after that, oh, this is dumb.
yeah, I was like, no, I don't like crap like that. I just don't. I just want to play. That's all I want to do. I just want to play it. I don't have to worry about moving this or wiggling that or whatever.
Well, some of that stuff does work
Yeah,
pretty well. It just depends on the game.
yeah,
Like the aiming in Breath of the Wild with the controller, I actually really like.
yeah. That worked well. I never used
Because you
it a
can
whole
use
lot,
it, it's
but
almost
worked
even
well.
like a supplement too. So you can still use the thumbstick, but then you also do like the fine control with the controller, and that
Right.
could work out pretty well.
Yeah, and it worked well in that. It was done well in that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just. I mean, I understand why they did it, because you have to have a way to do those things. But it's kind of like, nope, I'd just rather play in handheld mode and go, oh, I need to move this down. Tap with my finger and then go back. Tap with my finger and go back. It's just seems easier than with the controller, but whatever. I mean, it's fine. It's all good. It's
Yeah.
all good.
Sounds like one of those no-win situations. They
Yeah.
had to figure out some way to do it because it wasn't originally designed for the Switch. They had to kind of work around it a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, they got to make a couple concessions with them.
And that's where I figure on the 3DS it probably is it's no big deal because 3DS has two screens
touch
anyway, so nobody
Yeah.
nobody thinks anything about it. So, but I mean, it's still a fun game. I still recommend it, especially. Well, I mean, I got it with the Prime discount, so I got it cheap. But I mean, even at $40, if you've never played it before, it's definitely worth a play, because I think it's like, was it like 50 or 60 of those levels or something like that, and it's just. They're just quick little plays. If you want to play 5 minutes, do a puzzle and be done, and you know, you got time to just a little bit of time to kill. It's perfect. It almost would have worked real good on a mobile phone. A mobile game? What?
I could see that. I
Oh
totally
my
see that.
gosh,
You
yeah.
get like 3 stars for every single level. And you call it a day.
I mean,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, but Eric, what have you been playing? That's all I got. I don't have a whole lot. I've been out of town.
What have I
So
been playing? Well, I think it was Friday. I tweeted about this too. Finally, I still have Assassin's Creed Black Flag for actually PS3 copy, but it was one of the games that you could pay like $10 and upgrade to the PS4 version.
yeah.
But finally, I was like, all right, I need to beat this. Put it in. I was like, how far am I? Yeah, I was like 83% done with everything.
Jeez.
I was like, really? Wow, what do I have left? No, legendary ships and one story mission.
That's pretty good for that game because that
Knock it
got a
out.
lot of content in that game.
Yeah, I finished the story mission. I was like, yeah, legendary ships are really hard. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. So, but I was, I checked my save 4 years ago.
Holy
Long time.
crap!
Wow. You waited 4 years for one mission?
Well, I think what happened is some other stuff came out, and I think that might have been the time where I swapped my hard drive for the first time from 500 to a 1 terabyte. And so I reinstalled it, and then probably like fired it up, download all the content, and I get other stuff.
I get
But it was
that.
good. It took me a few minutes, got all the combat back, but it's like, you know what? I look over at my shelf, I'm like, look, there's Assassin's Creed Rogue for PS3. I should probably play that. Look, it's sealed. What? It has ship combat. It's pretty good.
I actually
But you
started.
just did that.
Well, but he only played it for 10 minutes.
True.
Actually, it was like an hour.
Okay.
I finished the story, and then I went tinkered. It's like, oh, that's cool. What's over there? Oh, yeah, the whale stuff. Cool, hunting.
Yeah.
So it was fun. But I'm glad I finally got around to it. Oh, let's see what else I've been playing.
See, I actually started Rogue a couple months ago, and then they were like, "Hey, guess what? We're bringing out the remastered edition for PS4," and I'm like,
Well,
"I'm not going to play it on 360 now." So, all right.
Yeah, it's dirt cheap on 360 or PS3. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how much better it looks on the other two systems, but for those, you can get it like $10
Well,
new.
and I'm playing the 360 version of Rogue on the Xbox One, so it's a little enhanced with
Yeah.
better loading times and a little
Yeah,
more
might as
better
well just
stability
play
and
it
stuff.
and
So
not-
it's like,
yeah.
I don't think I'm
I don't
going to
want to
buy
buy it again.
Well,
Yeah.
plus it's digital only, so it's like, if it was a hard copy, then I might buy it to add to the collection. But with it being digital only, I'll probably just stick with the 360 version. But then I started playing Origins, and I just like, forget it, I'm not playing
And I
it.
was thinking about that too when I was at GameStop earlier this week. I was like, oh, look, it's on sale right now for like $30. I'm like, oh, I've heard really
Origins
good
is
things.
so good.
Yeah, I need to get back in it.
All right.
I just
well,
had
so-
a poll up on my Instagram, and Origins won for what game I should purchase next by one vote. 208
better go
people
get it.
viewed it, and it won by one vote.
It's
Nice.
worth it.
How
It's
many
it's,
choices
like a
were
vote
there?
really,
against
he only
you.
had 2 choices, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think
Go
it's-
ahead.
There
Well,
was
second
3.
choice.
Oh, was there 3?
choices.
I remember Horizon and Origin, but I
Yeah,
don't remember
so
what the
you
other
can
one.
only put a yes or no for the voting options on Instagram. So it was vote yes for Origins, vote no for Horizon Zero Dawn, or if you comment on that story post for Mario Tennis on Switch. I got one person to send me a message for Mario Tennis, and then the rest were divided up between Horizon and
I mean,
Origins.
both of those games are very good, and they're both big open world games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have Horizon.
I'd say
Zero
the
Dawn.
narrative in Horizon is better than
Origins.
Origins, but they both
I
have
have-
really fun worlds to explore.
I have 3 coupons for pre-owned games at GameStop just burning a hole in my pocket that I need to use by the end of the month for my birthday, and hoping that in combination with some of my points, maybe I can just get them both.
Yeah.
So,
I
Yeah.
would think so. You probably could. So,
Well, Horizon is pretty cheap now.
think
yeah,
it's
I can
Like,
I can
you
get
can get the
the
complete version for
Horizon Complete Edition. It's like $18.99
Yeah.
pre-owned.
It's like new, it's 20, so
yeah. So
everywhere has it for about
Yeah.
that price. So that one's a lot cheaper. Origin's still a little bit more.
Yeah,
It's
Or-
harder to
Origin's
find
on-
pre-owned though. I might have to order it.
Yeah, Origin's on sale right now because of the summer sale. GameStop's 30 new. I think it's like still spendy used.
Oh, really? It's 30 new? That means it's cheaper than the pre-owned one. Son of a...
Yeah. Son of a monkey. I know where you're going with that. I hear you.
Yeah, I hate it when that
Yeah,
happens.
I
I
know.
totally get that though. It's like, why is it $30 new, but your used is still $54.99? What's up with that?
I get it.
Ah,
I get it. It's just why right now? The one time I have a coupon.
Let me just while Eric's talking, I'll just check it out. So, but go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, Robert, if Horizon Zero Dawn is in my area, the complete, and it's cheap, I can get it for you. I can pick it up for you.
I can order it on the web and store and get the same price. So
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say.
appreciate it.
No problem, man.
Yeah.
Lots of GameStops and
We got
Well
several
known in
GameStops
all of
around
them.
here, too,
Oh,
so-
actually, it is not on sale anymore. It is back up to $59.99, and used is $49.99. So,
should have bought it. Oh well.
Not bad.
I'll wait. Black Friday.
yeah,
There we go.
All right.
Coupons
So-
it is.
Woo!
there you go. Yeah.
I played some more of Axiom Verge and decided I should buy the Multiverse Edition. I'm kind of stuck. Well, I'm not stuck, but I got to figure out where I got to go next. It's still really fun though.
I'm not
I
stuck.
need the community
Well, I'm not
to keep an eye
stuck,
on
but I
Action
am.
Verge for me.
Yeah,
Let me
I was
know when
like,
it's
where
on
do I go next?
sale.
I'm like, okay, I know where to go.
It was
I'm like,
on
this is kind of challenging.
sale digitally on the eShop for like
like
14 bucks, I think.
Hmm.
It's worth buying physical though, just to have it. I mean, it's
The
worth
Multiverse
it.
Edition looks cool, so I'm just going to get that. Plus, I was able to trade my vanilla copy away for. I had to throw in a little cash, but I'm going to get the Kirby game for Switch, even though most people didn't really like it.
I liked
Hey, it's
it.
Kirby.
I thought
Isn't
it was
it the
cool.
best-selling Kirby game of all time?
Yeah,
I like the demo. It was
there we
fun.
go.
I bought it. It was really good. I liked it.
Good enough recommendations for me. The fact
I just downloaded the demo. Haven't played it yet.
The demo's fun.
I liked
And
it.
so, what else have I been playing? Played a little bit more Runbow. We talked about that before.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's fun. Played Fallout Shelter, which
Yeah, let's talk about Fallout Shelter. Why are you still playing Fallout Shelter? We just talked about this
I
last
got
time
some
on the
good
show.
news. So I played like a little bit like this weekend. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna go play I'm gonna play some more Axiom Verge, and then I'll go check out some stuff on the PS4. Speaking of the PS4, I played Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered. It's pretty good. Played a lot of the original game. We played a lot of multiplayer, big group of my friends, like every week, like on Wednesdays for like 3 or 4 years. Like it was crazy. But
Yeah.
I noticed a few things with that maybe it's supposed to be like a holdover from the last generation, but vehicles are kind of feel funny, and there's really long load times too for this game.
That's just that
It's like,
game.
I get it must be because I mean, you've even got
Yeah.
a digital version of it, so
yeah,
load
it
times
loads
would
like
be.
that. I'm like, this is no faster than playing it on PS3,
Hmm.
but it is still fun. I'm like a third of the way through. It's easy, it's fun, easy. Run around, smash stuff, blow things up.
The game's easy if you put it on easy. The normal is like hard in most games.
That's
just
what I
because how
did.
many bullets they
Yeah.
throw around in there.
Actually, it might be on normal. Dying a lot, so it's probably on normal.
It's like early on, it's not too bad, but once you get midway through that game, they just throw so
Yeah.
many soldiers at you. It's just like bullets everywhere. You're just like,
I
ah.
just love smashing things, throwing the remote mines, blowing stuff up the rocket launcher.
Yeah, I get that. I would totally. That's
Yeah, I think I've got that version for free because I had the PC version already,
Yeah.
and then they gave
And
it away.
I
so-
thought I checked that. I didn't have it on Steam, but I'm glad we got a chance to review it. So we'll finish it up and get that written up.
yeah. We would have had it earlier, but they didn't send me an email to let me know it was here. So I just happened to stumble onto it like 4 days after the game came out. I'm like, oh well, thanks for letting me know that we had a code. Nothing better than having a review up super late since it was. Oh well.
Oh, well.
Whatever.
It is what
It's
it
a
is.
remaster of an old game.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Not a huge deal.
I remember how excited I was about like Armageddon too. I was like, oh, another Red Faction game, and then
And they made a terrible one.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
they did.
yeah. Glad I waited till this was on sale.
Uh,
But,
Hey, Spinner, how's it
Which
going?
is very sad because I wish more games had gone and developed the destruction that game had.
yeah. And I
yeah.
think
It's just fun.
I think I played the first Red Faction on PS2 like way back in the day, and that was like one of the first games to have that sort of like destructible environment.
I was such a huge fan of the original Red Faction.
Yeah.
I played that thing to death.
Yeah.
I even submitted a bunch of like secrets and codes onto Cheat Code Central back in the day.
Oh man, I remember that site.
I found like this secret fishing hole if in like the first level if you had a rockets or the sticky mines you could drill or blow a hole down into the ground far enough that you would drop into this open area with a big old bowl of water, a singular fish just swimming in there.
That's crazy.
Okay.
But I always
No way to
remember-
get out. You had to kill yourself. So.
well, yeah. Worth
Gotta go
it.
that way. I always remember about like Red Faction is. I always think about how back in the day, well, before the second one came out, or sorry, before Armageddon came out, a couple of guys I know that played the first one, Red Faction Guerrilla with me a lot. They won a contest, go to Volition's headquarters to see play the new game. They got a bunch of signed merchandise and everything. It was pretty cool. But then after the game came out, studio. So, oh well, it happens.
Yeah, it
Armageddon
does.
just didn't sell well. Anyway, I did fire up Prey finally. What, Nathaniel? You played through this, right?
I finished it. Yes.
All right, cool. I knew one of us had played it. It's
I have
pretty
it
good.
installed.
It reminds me of
I didn't buy it.
like Dishonored meets like System Shock and Deus Ex. Is that
I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's arcane, so it's got the Dishonored feel, but it's also just that style of whatever.
a bit jumpy? But I'm like,
The
yeah.
term is skipping my brain right now, but yeah,
smashing coffee cups and briefcases. Where are those stupid mimics hiding? But
it's one of those games that does a good job of giving you multiple options to, find your way in somewhere. You can just go in
Yeah, like
sneaky.
Deus Ex.
You can go in through the front door and smash things. This one you can morph into weird
fun.
objects
I
because
played
you have
about 2
alien
hours.
powers.
Yeah, I played about 2 hours of it. I'm like, why didn't I play this sooner? So it's definitely one of those things. I was gonna try to get back and finish the Dishonored 2 DLC, but I was like, you know what?
Spinner saying in chat he'd heard it compared to Bioshock and Half-Life. I don't.
Yeah.
Bioshock a little, maybe just for you're going around an environment and you go back through different areas and then it can kind of change over time. So it's kind of like you're in a space. So it kind of has like, I forget the name of the space station. So it's kind of like Rapture that way.
Talos?
Yeah,
The space station? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it's kind of like Bioshock.
But not so much Half-Life. It's very
Yeah.
much like Dishonored and System Shock and Deus Ex.
So
It
lots of
doesn't have
different
the same
ways.
systems as those, but it's very similar. It's doing very similar things. Of hey, here's your powers. You can upgrade certain ones. If you have this power, that means you can go through this sort of a thing. But if
Yep.
you don't, then you can't go that way. But you have something else that can take you this alternate route to do something different, or to attack enemies differently, or whatever. And there are cool like weapons. You get all sorts of stuff in the game. That's fun.
Pretty much sums it up.
Like the goo gun. That thing is so much fun. Not so much for attacking, but for climbing into places you're not supposed to be yet.
Yeah.
I don't remember how the inventory works
It's
in
not
that game.
bad. It's pretty easy to pick up stuff, and you can combine it and things like that and make new things. I had forgotten. That was one of the things I had read about when the game first came out. I was like, oh, that's right. You can make stuff and recycle things.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I really like that game a lot. I'm curious. I was curious
I'm playing
about the
it on
DLC,
normal.
and then when I saw what it was, I didn't really care too much.
Well, yeah,
'cause
what
it's
is the
not very
DLC? It just came
story-based.
out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have like you're on the moon or something, and you have like a specific run, like you're going through, but then things change each time, each run you go through.
Ah,
So it's meant to be almost more of like a run base. I think it even has a timer, so you like go through and like, okay, next time I'll try this instead, or it might even change. I don't remember. I didn't look into it too deeply, but it wasn't really story based, which is what I wanted out of it, based on where it ends up. Maybe
17.
we'll get a sequel. Who knows?
yeah. I mean, it sold pretty well.
Yeah.
Not
There's
bad.
no way it's
It
not
sold
getting a
okay.
sequel.
It didn't really do as
17,
well as they wanted, though.
$17 on Amazon right now. It's not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. But yeah, if you like that style of game of
And
like
I
a
th-
Deus
I think I
Ex
got it for
or
20.
Dishonored, it's definitely worth picking up.
I think I got it for 20 like 6 months ago, so it's been sitting there for a while.
It's got a really cool vibe and atmosphere to it too. It's just this kind of abandoned space station where these creatures are running around, but some of them can be shape-shifted into innocuous objects, so you don't
Coffee
know.
mugs.
Anytime they could jump out at you, you don't know. So it makes it very tense for a while until you
You get, some
power
cool,
up.
you get some cool powers. I forgot to mention, I also played some Black Ops 3 because that was free
Mm-hmm.
on PlayStation Plus. So me and my friends played some zombies. I haven't played zombies since like Black Ops 2. and
I think that one has
Terrible.
online single player co-op or
I
campaign
think so.
co-op.
I believe so.
We should do some sort of night for that. That'd be
No,
fun.
we
I
can
never
do that.
did the
I downloaded
co-op
it.
mode.
Since it was PlayStation Plus, I downloaded it or added it to my download list.
I like the campaigns for the Call of Duties. I just haven't played
Yeah,
through them.
I usually do too. I usually like the campaigns. That's usually about all I play is the campaigns,
Yeah.
and then I I pass it along. I haven't played World War II yet. I
That had a good campaign.
Yeah, I heard it did.
I actually beat through that one. Someone at work let me borrow it and played through it in like 2 days.
I need to wait and see. The old Red Box may have them for cheap here.
It should. I just got a coupon for a free one.
Yeah.
A free 1-day rental.
I usually get them daily. I just usually go, I don't have that much time. I don't have time to rent something like every day. So.
I'll forget to take it back, and then they're going to charge me.
Yeah, all right. But yeah, how long was the campaign? Like 5 or 6 hours?
It wasn't long. It was maybe 5 to 8, I guess,
I could do
depending on your
that.
skill.
I can do that in a day. I can do that on a free day when I got nothing to do, doing laundry or whatever. Why not?
It was surprisingly good. It had more of an old school feel to it, not just because of like World War II stuff, but
Yeah.
there were some like stealthy moments in there where you're walking through like undercover, and it was cool. Good callbacks. I don't know if you remember like the old James Bond game, not GoldenEye, but like the PS2 ones.
Oh, I thought you were talking
Like,
about the
Nightfire
Quantum of
and stuff?
Solace or
Oh,
something.
No.
Agent of Fire, Nightfire, everything.
Yeah, like those. It had missions that felt similar
Nice.
to those, and I was like, I kind of dig this.
Is that kind of like?
Nice.
See, I'm trying to remember if the PS1 version of Medal of Honor had those. I want to say it did.
I want to agree with you.
It's been a long time since I've played those, though. Man, it's been a long time since I've played those. I like those a lot, though. I loved the PS1 versions of Medal of Honor. Those were always really good. Of course, it was the same people there that did the Call of Duty there for a while, so that makes sense why it felt so good. Yeah, I played the Telltale game, Batman game on the Switch a couple months
Played
ago.
through season 1.
Season 2 is coming out on the Switch, or they're figuring it's coming out on the Switch. It just got rated, ESRB rated today, so I have a feeling in the next month or two we'll probably get a physical release of it,
I
so I'll
mean,
pick
it's
it
a
up.
Telltale game, so it's going to be everywhere at some point.
Yeah, well, what I do like about the Telltale games is they wait until the season's over so they can bring it all out on one cart, you know.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Unlike Banner Saga, that
Honestly,
really.
the way to do is to wait until it's pre-owned and then
Well, yeah.
beat it and take it back.
I was very upset the other day, a couple of weeks ago, when Banner Saga came out on the Switch. All three of them were coming out, and I specifically asked them directly, "Hey, you bringing out a physical version?" This was back in May, and they were like, "Well, not at this time." Well, 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, they announced they're going to bring out a physical version this fall. So then my next question was, is all 3 games going to be on the disc, or is it going to be 2 games and a download code? Well, come to find out, it's 2 games and a download code. So
There's a lot
no,
of that.
thank you. I'm not interested in that. If I'm going to do that, I'll just buy all of them digital. If I've got to buy one digital, I might as well buy them all. So I don't know. Crap like that's really starting to aggravate me on the Switch.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we're going to bring out a game on the physical version of it, but only half the game is going to be there. I get that with L.A. Noire because it was such a big game, but all 3 Banner Sagas together are 13 gigs. It's not that much. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just cheaping out on a cart is what that is. That's just
I still want to play LA Noire, and I can't decide if I want to get it on the PlayStation for the Pro enhancements or on the Switch so that I can play it comfortably.
I don't know. I would almost go on the PlayStation 4 Pro if you've never played it before.
It'll look better.
It looks better and runs better on there. Not that it runs poorly on the Switch. It's just not. I wouldn't call it the best version of the game to play if it's available on PS4 Pro.
I think it's even cheaper on the PlayStation.
Yeah, it probably is. It's probably still quite expensive on the. It's probably regular price on the Switch, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, it runs really good on the Switch. It looks really good on the Switch. But if I had the option to play it on the PlayStation 4 Pro in a little better graphic fidelity, I probably would do that. But I've also played through it on the PC. I've played through it on the 360. I've played through it on the PlayStation 3. So it's just kind of like, well, the Switch version come out. I'm like, well, I'm just going to play. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to play it on the Switch because I can play it on the go. But I love that game. That's one of my favorite games from the PS3 360 generation. I just love.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I love that game. It's probably in my top 5 games that was out that generation. Just because I really like that style of game. I like that time period, and I like the whole tech behind it too. I really dug the story. I like the detective stuff and this and that. It was kind of corny in times, but I liked it. I really would like to have seen them do their sequel. What was their sequel called? It was like the Horror Bangkok or something like that. It was something, I don't remember what it was called. It was something.
You're talking about the DLC?
No. They had a whole new, that company had a whole nother game in, that developer had a whole nother game in development before they shut it down. When
Could
they
have
had
been,
all
it
those
never came
it
problems.
out.
could have been much because they closed that studio down pretty quick. After
Yeah, they did, but they had
Didn't
one
they
that they
spend
were.
all their money on the facial tech?
Yeah, well, and that was what the main thing in the next game was going to be, and they were actually starting to develop it when the whole fallout from that, whatever it was, I don't even remember what it was, work practices or something like that shut that studio down. So, but yeah, that I know a lot of people didn't like. Some people really liked LA Noire, or you just didn't like it. I liked it.
I
I liked
only
it a lot.
like it a little bit.
Yeah.
Can't really dislike parts of it.
Yeah, and I could
Stuff about that game that I just did not like.
I could totally see that. So
I wish it was more just a linear game that did not have the city because it would have been a much cleaner game that way.
yeah.
And it would have had a much better story through because that's about all they did anyway. But then threw in a bits of, oh no, you have to drive around here because it's an open world game with nothing in it.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times what I would end up doing is I'd be driving from point A to point B, and when they'd stop talking, I would just hit the X button and just magically appear at the next.
Yeah.
Unless I knew, if I didn't get a call between A and B for a side mission, then it would be like, okay, well, I'm just going to go magically just arrive at the next place. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting game on the Switch, but I would, if I had the choice and had a PlayStation 4 Pro with a 4K TV, I think I would go with the Pro. That's just me, though.
Fair enough.
And does the PlayStation 4 version doesn't have the VR in it, does it? That's only on PC.
It's a separate. You can get it separately, but it's not part of the package.
Okay, all right. I couldn't remember if it was part of the package or if it was separately. That would be cool.
No, it was like they reworked the
Honestly,
whole game
the
for
best
VR.
thing-
I think.
The best thing about the VR thing of the game is seeing the McElroys do videos
Yeah.
of it, like 3 or 4, and they're
It
goofy and hilarious.
cracks me up.
Because it's so janky. It's great.
And you can stand and do, you can do all these weird things in front of mirrors and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was, to me, that would be worth just playing just for a minute just to be able to do that.
Go mess with the hot dog stand guy
Yeah,
for no reason because he's just a stupid NPC on the street
yeah,
that doesn't even do anything.
yeah. That's one of those things with VR. I'd like to try VR for stupid stuff like that. I don't think I could
Yeah.
seriously play VR games, but I could goof off in VR games. And yes, Spinner, Skyrim is out on Switch. I bought it. It looks fantastic on that thing.
That came out last fall, right?
Yeah, it did. It's crazy how well that game runs and looks on the Switch. Very
Looks pretty good.
very impressed. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into the news. There wasn't a ton
on.
of what's that?
Hang on.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
skipping,
You know
like, a
what,
whole giant
Nathaniel?
list. We got on
I
a tangent.
totally forgot. We got on a tangent, and you usually go first, and I want to hear
Yeah.
about all your cool new PC
Well, it's
stuff.
like,
I totally forgot
I've got
about
a
that.
giant block of games this time, too, so it's not
Well,
like you can't see it.
And you're up at the top, and it was like Robert, John, and then Eric. And Eric was
Yeah.
on the bottom, and then I just kind of started scrolling, and I was like, okay, go ahead. I'm terribly sorry. I did
I
not
don't
mean
have to talk about games. It's fine. I'll just leave.
No. You're fine. You're fine. Go right ahead. Totally slipped my mind. Because I do. I want to hear about this PC. Just the
Yeah.
specs alone of it look awesome. So
It's a pretty good computer. So over like the July 4th holiday, I took like second half of the week off, so I'd have like a 5-day in a row weekend or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Week, yeah.
have a
like,
work week off.
I don't know. Hey, I worked for 2 days, so sure. I don't
Yeah.
know. But 5 days in a row where I didn't have to do anything. And before that, like right before that, I decided to go ahead on like the weekend before that, ordered a bunch of PC parts because I've been thinking about getting stuff for a while. and most of it came right before the holiday, and then the graphics card and a couple other things came on Thursday after. So
Yeah.
that whole 5-day span was putting the computer together, getting it all working, and then playing a bunch of different things on it to see how cool they look
Yeah.
on my fancy new machine. I've got the specs in our notes, so if you guys go to the website after look at the notes, you can see that. But
Yeah, and it's insane.
yeah, it's got an i7 8700K in it. It's got a 1080 Ti, so expensive things.
Yeah.
Much of everything. It got 2 different SSDs in it, so one's the M.2 that's on the system board, and one's like just the bigger one that's a little less expensive.
Yeah.
Are still small compared to a regular hard drive, though. So I've played a bunch of different things for an hour or two, booted it up just to play it, and then a couple more things I played a lot more of. I also had.
I want to see what it looks like on this new computer.
Yeah, that's what
So
I do when I get.
I also got a really fancy new monitor that cost quite a bit. It's a 1440p one, which is 2K basically. It's in between 1080 and 4K.
Right.
And it is high refresh rate, and it's a G-Sync monitor, so it will automatically adjust the refresh rate to whatever
wow.
your graphics card is putting out, as long as you have an NVIDIA one, which I do. And then that makes it get rid of screen tearing and anything like that, and it's very, very smooth if you're running a game that can do the higher frame rate.
Yeah.
What's the difference
Really
between
cool.
G-Sync and V-Sync?
V-Sync is sort of a technology that's in the software of games that's been around for a long time. G-Sync is sort of doing the same thing, but on a hardware level. So it's your graphics card talking to your monitor, and it's adjusting your monitor's refresh rate to exactly match what the graphics card is putting out, so that there's never any difference. So what V-Sync is doing is sort of similar, but it's kind of like taking all that excess stuff and kind of filtering it down. I don't know. I have a good way to actually explain it, but that's like a software thing that's in a game or game engine sort of a deal, and it has a similar job, but it's going about it in a different way, and it's not matching your monitor at all. It's more matching the output of the game to your monitor, which is usually 60.
So they're like mirrors of each other. One's adjusting
Kind
the
of.
monitor, the
They're
other's
both-
adjusting the game.
Yeah, they're both trying to get rid of screen tearing and some other artifacts that happen when you have a mismatch. So the tearing is when you see kind of that like cuts through because it's mismatching between what's being output and what your display can actually put out. So it's just 2 different technologies kind of trying to get rid of different screen artifacting stuff, mostly just tearing. So this way, like if your game is putting out 90 frames a second, the monitor is displaying 90 frames a second. Or if it's going up to 144, which is what mine does, although I think it has a button that will make it go to 165, but I can't run most things that high anyway. If you can put out 144 frames, it will display 144 frames. But it'll also on the fly is adjusting that, so most games it's not like a steady frame rate all the time, because some areas are like more demanding than others. It'll go
Right.
up and down. But this kind of behind the scenes is all matching it so that it just looks smooth to you the whole time. And it's not like getting any weird graphical errors because of it.
Well, that's cool.
But man, if you could push out the frames, I really notice it in stuff like weather effects and fast moving things.
Yeah.
So if it's like raining, you can see all the raindrops going by. It doesn't just blur out like it would just because of movement, because you're only seeing even 60 frames a second. It's pretty good, but if you can see twice that, it's just, I don't know, it's drawing it twice as many times a second, so it's not losing as you have like double the information that you're seeing with your
Right.
eyes, so it feels more like real life or whatever. So anyway, a bunch of the games that I put in, one of them was really old, but I just wanted to play it because it was Burnout Paradise, because that game is just fun. It turns out that game looks really ugly when fog rolls in because of the way they do the fog in that game.
Yeah.
It's because it's some weird effect overlay that makes everything super jaggy, because it does something to like the draw distance and the resolution that it's outputting things at, because it's such an old game. So it's like, oh, when the sun's shining, it was great. And it's I thought it might be unlocked on PC, but it's still locked at 60 frames a second. So I just wanted to see. I know I can push this game faster than it needs to go, but I couldn't go past 60 because it was just written that way. Probably because of the physics. You'll see that sometimes the physics engine has to run at a certain thing, otherwise things go haywire.
Yeah.
So a lot of older games don't adjust for that. Newer ones do. I threw in some. The first game that I did once I got the new monitor in was Witcher 3. Because I was like, I want the first game that I see on my awesome brand new monitor to be Witcher 3, and I was not disappointed. That game is insane.
Yeah, I bet.
I already thought it looked great from playing it at 1080p, but upping the resolution a bit and being able to max everything out and running smoothly is like I played through kind of the intro and played through maybe an hour into the White Orchard prologue section, so just running around the world, and it's like it looks really great to the point that I'm like, man, I want to play through all of Witcher 3 again now, but this game is super long. This is a bad idea. Let's see, I put in Rise of the Tomb Raider because that's one that push graphics on pretty good, and it looks really nice, plays really smoothly. I played through a couple hours of that. I put in Just Cause 3 because explosions. Played the first hour or two of that, and that was a lot of fun. I put in Rocket League, and that game is amazing on high refresh model.
I'll bet.
So easy to keep track of the fast action. It's very, very smooth, and plus that game is really, really fun. It's been a long time since I played it, so they'd added a bunch of different stuff, like you can customize your goal explosions now, and there's some other stuff in there that cosmetically you can do that weren't there before. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see, what's some other quick ones? Assassin's Creed Origins, I played a bit more of that. I'm just in the middle of it. And, yay for cloud saves, I can just pick up right where I was before.
Exactly. Man, I wish they'd had that the first time my computer crashed with Steam and I had to go to a new computer and I lost all of my saves and everything like that. It was just a mess.
Yeah, most games now support it, which is really cool if you have to go to a different machine or something.
Yeah, now it's just like no big deal. But man,
Yeah.
it was rough those first couple of years.
Yeah. All right, I have a couple more, but I'm going to go bounce this. I've been played a little bit more Vampire and Hollow Knight since the last time we recorded. They're both still pretty good. Hollow Knight is definitely kind of like a Dark Souls Metroidvania cross where you get into a new area and you're like, oh crap, everything's killing me. But it's a really, really cool game. I like it. Hopefully I'll be able to finish it, but I was looking into it. It's apparently a very, very long game. I'm maybe 20 hours in or something like that. But apparently it's like even twice that maybe. I don't know. I played some Overwatch because we're going to have a tournament at work this past week. So
I
played
remember you saying that.
The most I got out of it was I got to play a couple of the characters that they'd added since the last time I played, which was when that game launched.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, these are fun. And then did the tournament at work, and our team got stumped. So I was like, oh, okay. Too bad we weren't playing real Overwatch because the tournament was like for TDM 4v4. And I was like, I want to play the objective-based Overwatch, the real game. But if you're only doing a tournament for a couple hours, you can't really do that. It would go way too long. But that game looks nice too on the new PC.
Yeah, I bet.
But it does.
But it's not really that much different than it was before. It's just because of this art style of that game is just, a little bit bigger on my newer monitor. Oh yeah, okay, so with some of my new hardware, I got a couple games, which is Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
So I played maybe 4 or 5 hours of it, so that's one of the ones I played a little bit more of on there. It looks pretty nice.
I played the hell out of that game.
I'm starting to get a feel for it. I'm like, okay, I kind of see what you're doing with it. I'm not sure I like the combat, even though I'm kind of getting the hang of it.
Yeah, you get to a point to where you just kind of accept the combat. It's more fun when you really get like the dodging and stuff down, but it's not the best.
I didn't.
I
I gave up on it.
One of my problems with not enjoying the combat is much to do with the other game that I've been playing a ton of that I'll get to here in a second, but because that game has great combat, but this one, it's not bad combat. It's fun. It has a little bit of a flow to it, but I'm still way early. I just started like the very beginning of chapter 2, so it's out of the intro chapter of, hey, look, it's a fun road trip, and now oh, hey, here's some big world event thing that's going on. This is the real game now.
I would recommend doing all the side quests before moving on. Just keep on that path.
I mean, I did pretty much every single side quest that I could do before I went to chapter 2, even though I
Yeah.
didn't know it was going to be
Once
chapter 2.
once
at the
you get to
time.
chapter 3, that's when all the side quests open up. Well, almost all of them.
Yeah.
So you'll be there a good long time. I was like level 58 when I left chapter 3.
Oh, good
Holy
gravy.
crap!
I'm like level
Dang.
11. I do like a lot of the systems. I think it's fun how you bank XP, and then whenever you camp at night,
hmm
and you actually do the leveling, and then you get the different action points that you can invest in your actual skill trees. And then every character has the different skills they do, that those also level up and give you bonuses. The fishing minigame is awesome. I had a lot of fun.
It's
when
a
I
really
found the
good
fishing hole.
minigame. It's really good.
Yeah, it's like it splits the line between not too simple but not too overly complicated either. So it's like you have a place, you cast it out, you hook a fish on, and then you have to lean your pole necessarily to keep the tension on the line different.
Fishing's how you get some of the best stuff in the game too,
Yeah,
that most people don't mess with.
but I was like, I spent a little bit of time on there. I was like, ooh, I could do a quest, or I could go fishing. Let's see how this fishing works, and it was fun. So I'll probably do more of it. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty early on in that game. It looks really good. I haven't installed it yet, but I got the Crew 2 and what is it? Warhammer Vermintide 2. I got codes for those. I just haven't installed them yet. And then the game that I was meaning to just be like, oh, let's see how it runs. Not actually meaning to get into it as much, even though I did want to go because it was a game that I played on my old PC, but then it started just crashing on me enough that I just stopped playing it because it wasn't stable, is Nier Automata. And now I have completely finished that game. Like, I was probably halfway through playthrough 1, in quotes. That's the thing I'll get into in a second. And now I've gotten all of the main endings. There's 26 endings in that game, but most of them are just joke little one-off things that like, oh, ha, ha, ha. There's only like 4 technically main endings, and then once you've done those, there's another extra kind of cutscene that'll play that's ending E for that. So they're called endings, but really I'd say they're like chapter endings. And it's people of like the stuff around this game, the talk around this game was like, you have to play through it a bunch of times, and very misleading because that's not actually what's going on for the most part. So like playthrough A, you're playing as one character. And you get playthrough B, and you're playing through the same sort of section of the game as a different character. So some of it is similar because you're paired up, and so you're going to be doing some of the same things. You can run some side quests that you missed will show up there. Any side quests you did finish don't show up again. And all of your XP and skills that you got for the first playthrough are still going through. So it's more like a New Game Plus that you just happen to be playing as a different character, which comes into play. There's some more like extra alternate cutscenes that they throw in. And then there's certain sections of the campaign that you're doing something completely different because that character was doing something different at that point in the story. So it's like, oh, hey, that's what was going on. That's cool. But when playthrough 3 starts is like, oh, hey, this is actually the second half of the game. Is not like you're not playing the same thing again. You're not doing it, oh, here's the same thing with a third character. No, it's completely different. It has completely different stuff going on. And then, so that will get you 3 endings right there. But then once you, like, third playthrough, but once you finish that, like, third chapter thing, you get chapter select. So then you could just go straight to the end of that and do something different and get the 4th ending. So really you're only playing through kind of the first section, then the first section is sort of a New Game Plus, and then another section that's completely different.
Yeah.
So all told, I think I finished the game with all of that stuff at about not quite 40 hours. So it's still a pretty long game.
Yeah.
But it's not really like you're playing through stuff again, like it seemed like. It's not like an over and over and over. You're doing very different. Even on the second playthrough, where it's the most the same, they have enough stuff in there that changes it, that it doesn't feel like the exact same thing. Even mechanically, the other character has a different thing that they do. Instead of having a heavy attack, they have a hacking move where you're hacking into the machines that you're fighting and stuff. But that game goes from a really good game with really good combat, because it's platinum, so of course it has good combat, to this game is amazing. I think that Nier Automata is masterpiece. Might not be quite to that level, but it's definitely an amazing game.
Yeah.
It has one of the best soundtracks ever in any video game. if you just want to go listen to it on YouTube, you'll like, oh wow, there's a whole lot of different variety to this. But the way that they use it in the game is really cool because they have a bunch of different tracks that are all busted out into different like layers of it. So you have just kind of like the bare minimum, and then as you go through some of the levels or areas, it will build on that and add more of the like track like parts to it. So have like just the instrumental, then it'll add some vocals on it, and then when you get into the really big action sequence, it'll just have full out all the arrangement is in there, and it's build up and sort of crescendoed through the whole area that you played. It's just a really cool way that they do it. But there's just a lot of different variety in it. It's got its own weird, unique sound. It does some stuff that seems like just traditional score, and then throws in some just weird vocal stuff and all this other different things. It just gives it its own unique feel, which is kind of what the whole entire game is like too. Its own unique thing. So you have third-person action game where you're controlling a character and you're running around in 3D and you're fighting, and you have like a dodge move, you have heavy and light attack, you also have this little like robot that floats in the air next to you all the time that it shoots. Then you have the camera shifts and you're doing all of it like a 2D plane, like a side scroller.
Right.
Then the camera can also shift and be over the top, and it's kind of like almost you're doing the same controls. But then there's also sections where you're in a flying mech and you're doing more like a shoot 'em up game or a twin stick shooter. And then there's the hacking mini game, which is kind of a very minimalistic graphics shoot 'em up shooter with all sorts of bullet hell stuff to dodge and things that you're doing. But all of them mechanically share aspects, so it doesn't feel like you're jumping into different things. It just feels like, okay, this is just the game.
Right.
I'm just playing it with a slightly different visuals. But
And,
you're still hitting the same buttons to do the same thing. So no matter what you're doing, shoot is always the same button. No matter what you're doing, the melee attack is always the same button. So it all kind of gels together, even though on the surface or just looking at it from the outside, you're like, wow, this is a lot of different aspects and weird stuff. How does this go together? It goes together really, really well.
yeah, that's one game that I've always wanted to play and pick up. It was on
And it's also like the
PS3
story
or 4.
is very, very different than most video games go. If you like stories about, machines and androids and things, and what is the meaning of life and what is alive and what is not alive, are these machines, just machines, or are they becoming their own form of life with all, consciousness and all that type of stuff, or not, and all those questions. Right. And it's also a game that's just willing to kind of wink or hint at things and not outright just like show you like, hey, here's this. It's a lot more subtle than that. And sometimes some of that is just overall that's all you're going to get. Some of that is, hey, we're going to hint at something that you're not going to see for another 15 hours when you're doing a different playthrough as a different character, and you suddenly know, oh, hey, that's what's going on. It just gets a lot deeper and deeper the more into it you get, because you're peeling away layers and seeing different things to the world building and the story itself and all of that. It's really, really cool. To the point that when I finished it, I went and dove down a YouTube rabbit hole of Nier and Drakengard lore, because apparently they're all tied together. It's like Yoko Taro is the designer, and he's going back to the Drakengard games. Them plus some tie-in novels and all sorts of stuff all actually tie together in weird and crazy ways.
I didn't realize that.
I knew this tied into the original Nier, in certain ways it had to.
Yeah.
Hey, it shares the same name, even though it's like thousands of years later than that game. But previous to that, the Drakengard games go into the original Nier. It's all this weird shared universe that's super deep and super complicated. I'm like, I understand about 5% of this now, but that was fun. But yeah, just the whole entire game just feels just very well designed. Like all of the menus in the game actually tie into the fact that you're an android. So there's parts in the game where you're damaged and like the screen itself is getting like some artifacting, like your visuals are going out.
Yeah. Like
you're getting some digital snow and stuff. And if you pause the game to go into the menus, it also is kind of shifting a little bit because you're damaged.
Right.
And there's just all sorts of fun little ways they play with that fact throughout the game.
Cool.
But yeah, if you want a happy game, It's not so much. Like it
wants
does
a
kind
happy
of. If you
game?
get all the way to the very end, hopeful a little bit, like at the very final like cutscene of E. If you do all the other endings before that,
Yeah.
kind of like okay, it's kind of like hey, hopeful things could be good in the future, but this game is over. So it's like all the sorts of stuff that happens before. There's a few times in that game I'm like, oh, that is messed up. they're not afraid to take something and just put this crazy twist on it that you're like, oh man, oh, I did not see that coming. Like some of the side quests, you're just like, oh, this is just a thing, and then you get to the end of it and you're like, holy crap, that was messed up.
Yeah.
I can't believe they just did that, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. That's one of those games that I've wanted to pick up on PS4 and I just never have. And then it came out on Xbox One
Yeah.
X with like all these enhancements and stuff like that, and it's kind of
Yeah.
everybody's kind of went, "Hey, this game's really good." Since
If you like sort of dark science fiction anime, kind of like Ghost in the Shell or
Yeah.
anything of that vein, it's very kind of that sort of path is what it kind of goes down to.
yeah, I need to pick it up eventually.
But yeah, it just gameplay wise and mechanics wise and just the way I hope it influences games from here on out because there's some cool stuff that it does. It's really really neat.
Yeah,
But it's really hard to talk about specifics without spoiling things.
yeah, I can see
Where it's
that.
like, oh, that's a super surprise. That was awesome. I had no idea.
That's cool. So yeah, that's what I always find myself doing when I do get a new PC, which doesn't happen very often. It's usually about once every 10 or 11 years. But it's like then I go back and start loading up stuff on it and go, let's see what this looks like.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, I built my previous PC in 2011, so it wasn't 10 years or anything. It was about 7.
I'm trying to remember.
I built mine in 2009.
Let's
Wow.
see. We
I didn't need a new PC. This old
mine
one
in
still worked,
2015.
but I wanted one.
I built mine in the one that I still have in the other room that we used for years and years and years for the podcast and gaming and stuff. I built it in 2006 or 7. We just bought the house, so we've been in there 8, 9, 10, 11. We would have been there 11 or 12 years this year, so. And it still runs things well, but it's like if I want to play anything newer, then, I needed to upgrade. But mostly the only reason I upgraded was because to do this. That was really the only reason, because I couldn't stream and record at the same time. It just wasn't powerful enough.
Just couldn't do it.
Yeah, and this one will play games, and it'll play games well. I don't do a lot of gaming on it because, I have the PS4, unless it's something that, I can't play anywhere else, but there really hadn't been too much on the PC that I've really sat down and played for a long time, so.
I put my old PC in the living room so I can play it on the TV if I.
Yeah. Yeah, the one in here the old one has a bad, the only thing it is it's either a bad solid state cable or the port where the thing plugs in. So every once in a while, it has no sides on it. It's wide open now, so you can just stick your hand in it at any time while it's on. Because sometimes when you turn it on, it goes, the hard drive's been disconnected. Ah, crap. And I got tired of taking the side off of it and wiggling the cable, put it back in, and then, which I really just need to buy a new cable, but unfortunately
I
the
was
way...
like, the cables aren't that expensive.
The trouble... I've got them.
You probably even have cables.
Oh, I do. I have tons of them. The trouble is the way it runs is it runs under the board and then it comes out the backside to go in the way the hard drive's set in, and it's weird. So I'd have to take half of it apart to lift the board up and under, and it's just like, I don't use it that often. I use it for work anymore. I use it for work
Or-
email. So
If you're lazy, you just unplug the one cable and you plug in a new cable in its place and just don't unroute the old one.
I mean, I could, yeah, but
Make it messy. Who cares?
it's like the thing is I literally turn it on maybe once or twice a week to go, I need to download my emails for work and save them here, and then I go on. It has the Plex server on it, but I don't even watch anything on the Plex anymore anyway, so it's like, just don't even worry about it. It's not worth it. So, the sides are open, so I turn it on and just let it go. It's fine. It's
The
all fine.
ROI is too low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, I got this one. This is the one where I do most everything at anyway now. that one's just more of a backup thing. So.
Yeah, I don't know if well, I'm probably gonna build a new PC next year, but I don't know what this one.
Was your graphics card? Is the graphic cards real expensive still? Or are they still like crazy, stupid expensive because of data
They're not
miners?
as expensive as what they were, but
Well, that's
still
cool.
not
Still spending.
quite. They're almost down to kind of manufacturer
affordable level.
suggested price.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's what I wondered. I knew there a year or two ago they were really going crazy because of all the data miners doing.
They're so expensive.
Well,
yeah.
yeah,
Bitcoin
it's
and
that,
stuff.
and also RAM got pushed up partly for the data mining, but also because of just availability of all the silicon chips and all the factories and all
Yeah.
that kind of. A few things came together to compound it all, so it was making prices go up quite a bit. And now they're on the downward trend again.
Yeah, well,
At
that's
least,
good.
at least until something else bumps it up.
Well, if it's on the downward trend, then I'd look at building another one. But until it hits that downward trend, I'm like, it's like, oh, thanks, Spinner. I appreciate that. That's very very nice. Yeah, it was our wedding anniversary was Thursday. I think it was. We've been married. Me and Nikki's been married 15 years. So thank you, Spinner. I appreciate that.
Just a little bit of time.
Yeah, just a little bit. We've known each other since we were 13, maybe. I don't know. 12 or 13 years old. I'm 43 now, so we've known each other quite a while. So, yeah, we're one of those weird people that actually went to school with each other and grew up around each other. You didn't get that when you lived down in North Carolina. People would look at you like, what? That's weird. But anyway, okay, let's get into some news. I know as soon as I saw this news, I immediately tagged Nathaniel in it because I was like, Wireframe is
Yeah.
coming to the Switch.
They had their
This might get me back in.
third annual TennoCon
Yeah, something
think-
like that, yeah.
that they were doing a live stream. That I had the live stream on, so I would get the free loot from it.
Oh, okay.
I just had it muted on one of the monitors off to the side. I was like, oh, I'm doing the sales. I don't really want to watch it right now.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I looked and I was like, wait, because someone in chat on Discord, one of my friends was saying that like Warframe was on Switch. I was like, what? Wait, what? Really?
What?
That's weird. You got to be wrong. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, they just announced it. Okay.
Yeah. There's no tentative date on when it's coming out or anything like that. It's on the eShop. It says coming soon, but there's no other information.
Well, it's the
about it.
same studio that did like Doom and Wolfenstein 2 and Rocket League, I think, those ports. So if
Yeah.
they can make those work, they can make Warframe work. The only problem is that game is huge as far as just like storage space wise. Like even if you downgrade the graphics to what it will run on Switch, which will make it smaller, there's just tons of content. So yeah, it's probably going to take up quite a bit of space.
Well, that or I'm wondering.
And they're updating it all the time, too.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that worries me is I wonder if it's going to be like a streaming game, like, the Resident
Cloud-based?
Evil cloud-based. Yeah, Resident Evil 7 is going to be cloud-based on...
Don't worry about it, because if they do that, no one can play it. It's too fast of a game. You can't
Too
stream
much. Can't stream it.
Well, yeah, that's...
it. It is a super fast
I mean, what
pace.
it-
You're just jumping around and leaping around, slicing
Yeah,
things.
and see,
shooting
that's-
things. It's just there's no way that they could stream that game.
Yeah, see, that's the way they do Phantasy Star Online, but it's a lot slower game than,
Something like a Resident Evil or whatever that's slower.
Yeah.
You can get away with it, I guess.
Yeah,
but
so-
for this, there's no way. Warframe is super speedy.
See, and that's one of the things that I want to try in Japan. They have Phantasy Star Online on the Switch, but it all streams. You don't download any of it, so it's an online game that streams. And I wanted to try it out, but the trouble is I can't remember my password and I can't read Japanese. So it's like I can't go through the thing and reset it. I'm like, son of a
wait.
gun. So, and then the
You
other
should get one of those translation apps on your phone.
well,
and
I've got
translate.
that, but the problem
Try
is
that.
they have a CAPTCHA.
Oh.
And the translation thing won't pick up the CAPTCHA. And when it has all these Japanese characters in there, I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't have a clue. And it's
You're just clicking "I am a robot" every time. It's a
yeah,
button.
I'm just going beep,
Although you
bop,
think
bop, bop.
for Japanese captures, that's the one they want you to click because they like robots so much. They want you to click "I'm a robot."
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's so weird. But yeah, it's like I really wanted to try it out because I wanted to see how well it would run like that on
Yeah.
the Switch. But
There's also some other stuff that came out of that the TennoCon thing that they announced for Warframe. That's really cool.
Yeah, I
They're
didn't
gonna have,
get
like,
into a whole lot of
There's
notes
a
of it.
second open world area that they're adding. There's this new like spaceship, capital ship combat thing that they're working on that they showed a preview for. Like that, the thing about Warframe, why it stuck around so long, is they're not afraid to. They communicate very well with the players. They give them some of the things that they want, but then they also put out things that no one ever asked for or wondered about. They're always adding new
Surprise.
crazy things to their game. And
Yeah.
so there's always that aspect of like, oh, I wonder what they'll add next, right? So
Yeah.
they're still doing that.
And that's what I think's cool about that game, because when it first came out, it was, it's way different than it was when it first
When
came
it
out.
first came out, it was just like a corridor shooter, and now it has like a whole brand new movement system. There's lots more of that corridor shooting part. There's an open world part. There's stuff where you fly around on a jetpack in space, and now
Yeah.
they're adding like actual capital ship, spaceship combat. Like, there's a ton of stuff to do in that game.
Yeah, and why not? Well, why not take that chance?
And it's free.
Yeah, I mean, it's free.
And you can get all of the like cosmetic stuff without paying money if you wanted to, because they marketplace you can get the paid for currency by selling it.
yeah. So I mean, that's
It just takes a lot more time.
sure, and that's fine. Yeah, but, you can do it if you want.
It's
and that's
definitely one of the free to play games that is like, oh hey, they figured it out. Why can't everyone too?
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they didn't get here just magically. They had to make some mistakes along the way.
Oh,
but
yeah.
they weren't just sticking to the gun saying, no, this is how it has to be. They're like, okay, well, let's try and do something. And now they've landed somewhere that's
Right, and who cares if it doesn't work? They can just scrap it, and they'll go
Yeah.
on and do something else. Big deal.
Well,
Yeah.
they had a PvP part of the game for a while that they just scrapped because no one played it and no one really wanted it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's funny how that has had so much success and other, I don't know. It's weird. It's like, why don't, like
Yeah.
you said, why don't other people do that?
Well, if you look at the history of it, it got lucky at the start in order to keep the studio running, and then they just had a couple moments like that, and then it just snowballed enough that they were able to build up the momentum.
Yep.
But there's so many other ones that they just don't get that chance because there's not enough people to play all these things.
Interesting. Yeah.
We're getting to that point now where there's so many games with a high investment like this that you can only play one of them. And then the type of people who want to play those games are only going to play one or maybe two of them.
Yeah.
And there's just so many to choose from now that some of them are going to fail because there's just not going to be enough players.
Right. Yeah. Oversaturation. So.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter World on PC has an official release date of August 9th, which is pretty soon, less than a month away. I got the PR email from Capcom on this the other day, and the specs to run it are not too bad either. So nothing.
It's using an old engine.
Yeah,
It's actually using the exact same engine as Devil May Cry 4 did.
yeah. So
Interesting.
yeah,
I'm
but
sure it's modified from that.
Absolutely.
oh
but
yeah,
it just
it's
goes to
way
show you.
modified for it. Yeah,
More people
so-
will be able to play it, so that's the important part.
yeah.
I mean, the engine itself sometimes doesn't matter as much as push through it. So you're doing
Right.
higher fidelity textures on whatever system you can and all the other things. But
Is that one you're going to pick up,
Yeah.
Nathaniel? You've been waiting on that one?
probably, I have a few friends that were play it on PC, and so I haven't really touched base enough to see if they're all like, yes, we will get it August 9th or not
Yeah.
yet. But
Yeah, I
that
have.
seems like a decent time because it's before the the fall rush.
Yeah,
of
it's a good
things,
time to
so-
bring it out. I have the digital copy on PS4. I've literally played through the little beginning area, and that's all I've done. I haven't went back and played the rest of it yet.
Missing
Yeah,
out.
that's,
Well,
that's the game I was waiting for and to see when it would see. And since it's coming out on August 9th, I probably will pick it up because it's not right in the middle of everything
Right.
else. Whereas if it had not come till September or something, it would just no way. 'cause
Yeah,
there's so
just
many
get
things coming out at
snowballed.
that point. But it's like, no.
Well, and the thing is when it came out, it was at a weird time because Nikki had broke her leg, so I wasn't downstairs playing games on the PS4. I was upstairs, with her, and if anything I played, I was playing it on the Switch. So, yeah, it's one of those games that just kind of got. I really want to play it, but it just kind of got buried underneath everything else, and now it's like I'm knee deep in Switch games, so it's like I'll play it at some point, maybe. I don't know. I got it for free, so it's no big deal. It's not like I paid anything for it anyway. So,
That's the problem. See, if you had paid for it, then you'd be like, oh, I gotta play it.
Well, I don't
Free.
know about that. I mean, I bought Assassin's Creed, and it took me 6 or 7 months to play it, and I paid money for that. So it was.
Yeah, but you're still like, I paid money. I have to play it.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It was free. I don't care.
Nintendo reassures investors that its 2018 lineup has not been fully revealed. A lot of people were complaining after E3 that there was not enough news about what was coming out the rest of the year, and Nintendo is like, calm yourself down. We haven't showed our whole hand yet.
I agree, though. They're kind of lackluster.
It was, but
Like Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Smash Brothers.
Well, and if you were a Smash Brothers fan, then it was great. But if you weren't a Smash Brothers fan,
But what they should have done is if they have other things this year, show us those two. Do just like a small detail about Smash Brothers in your main thing, and then with all the Treehouse streams separately, you can go into all the crazy detail that they did in the main, direct. So they could have. And if it's coming out this year, they should have done it at E3. There's no reason to hold it back. But Nintendo's kind of done this before, too, so...
Right.
I can't imagine it being a big AAA title.
Probably not.
I don't know. I don't know. The rumors going around are there's going to be a new Nintendo Direct this month. Sometime before the end of July. I have no idea other than just hearing rumors. So I don't even know what it would, the rumors don't even say what it would have in it, if it's more 3DS, if it's Switch. So who knows? But, Nintendo, like I've always said, Nintendo walks to the beat of their own drum anyway. So, whatever. I mean, but I was almost positive, that I'm sure that they're not betting on Smash to be the only big name game coming out this year.
That said, I don't think that there's anything that they could put out on Switch this fall that I'm going to be interested in, unless it's just super crazy out of left field. Oh, holy crap. Wow, I want that. It's going to have to hit that level because of all the stuff we already know about this coming out this fall.
Yeah, I mean...
I already have 4 or 5 games I want to get. I don't need to, put another one on unless it's just something that's really, really, grab me, right?
Well, and maybe... You're not going to try Pokemon?
Smash Brothers is the only Switch game that I'm kind of interested in, and that's not till December or something.
Yeah, and maybe that's their plan. Anyway, they're going to do this kind of Pokemon game that's more of an introductory Pokemon game, while everything else on the systems is coming out with your Call of Duties, your Battlefields, your Assassin's Creeds, your Red Deads, your other stuff like that. Nintendo kind of stepping back and saying, okay, you guys, go for this, and then at the end of the year go, well, if you're a Smash Brothers fan, here's your Smash game, and maybe another game that we really don't know about that's not a huge AAA game, but it's a game that, will be in between Pokemon and Smash. Or maybe not. Maybe they'll just go, hey, when January rolls around, here's whatever, I mean, at this point they don't have to, they're still selling consoles right and left. They don't necessarily have to. When the Switch first came out, the Wii U did so bad, it was like, we need, this blockbuster and then this blockbuster and then this blockbuster and then this blockbuster just to sell systems. Now it's kind of like, okay, we've got a good baseline, we've got a lot of good games that a lot of people haven't still played, so we don't need to have blockbuster after blockbuster after blockbuster after blockbuster. We've got enough good indie titles. We've got enough good first-party games. Third-party is decent enough. I mean, the indie titles, though, I think is what's, really...
That's what's saved the Switch.
Yeah.
That's the wrong word, but without the indie titles, they wouldn't have had that. And now they're going completely too far the other way.
Well, and that's... Well, okay, so... Nintendo, there was an interview during a shareholders meeting, and somebody was quoted as saying that they're looking to release about 20 or 30 indie games each week in the future. Now, what I have not heard is if that is an exact quote, if somebody misinterpreted something somebody said, because 20 or 30 indie titles seems like an awful lot.
That's too many.
Yeah, that's way too many.
He's releasing 100 a week on average.
Well,
but spread that out over a full year.
Yeah. Well,
makes the shop and how many of those will sell 1 or 2 copies. It's like,
Yeah.
sure, for that team or that person to be able to put it up on a Nintendo system is cool. But
Yeah.
for just a general usability, standpoint for most people, that's like, no, that's too many. There's no way I could keep up with that, even if I wanted to, and I'll probably miss some of the things in there because
Right.
it's just
Yeah. You might miss some
completely
really good
dumping
things you wanna
over.
play.
They can spotlight stuff, and then 5 seconds later, it's something else spotlit there, and you didn't get a chance to be able to know, oh, hey, that's on Switch now,
Exactly. Yeah. And the other thing that Nintendo is
That's the
going to
problem
need.
like Steam has already.
Right. Well, and that's the other thing. If Nintendo's going to want to really do this, then man, they need to really revamp the eShop because
Yeah,
it
make
is.
it easy to filter.
It worked well for the start, but
Right.
now that it's gotten saturated, just more games needs some help.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like now, even with the sales, they're getting so many games on sale that they can't put them all on the main screen. You have to go and go view all, and it's like a little sorted list about this big with this one, no descriptions, just list and a picture, list and a picture, list and a
Click,
picture.
click, 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 click.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I mean, and
That's
that's
the difficulty of any marketplace is how to do those things correctly, and nobody's got it perfect.
yeah. Well, and like I said, this quote, I don't know if it was just misinterpreted or what. Maybe they meant 20 to 30 a month, not a week. But nobody else. But they haven't come back out and said no. That's not what we meant. We meant this. So I'm going to guess
No,
that's what they
I
mean.
believe it's a week. They release a crap ton every single Thursday.
Yeah. Well, and I
They're
mean,
almost at 20 probably.
well, and it varies from week to week, but I mean, this week alone, I know there was three or four retail releases on top of whatever little trickle releases or indie releases or but they're talking like 1,500 software titles are in development under Unity for the Nintendo Switch. I mean, that's a lot. But how much of that crap is shovelware that was a cell phone game or a Steam game or something like that people, it's probably super easy just to go, hey, we've got a game in Unity, let's just move it over to Switch and see how it does, because that's the hot thing
Steam
right now.
has over the Switch store is you can see if something is crap, most likely, because there's enough people who bought it and reviewed it or looked at it and can say, hey, this is junk, do not get it.
Right.
With the Switch, it's just kind of like, I have no idea.
Yeah, well, and I understand the Xbox has the creators program, and I know they do 20 or 30 indie games a week, but how many of them are worth my time and money?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of there's
Well, the
there's a
reason
few.
all those are on there is they were
Hang on,
copies.
hang on, you
Fine.
you totally cut out there the whole thing you said. So
Oh. They have all those on there swamping it because copies, they'll make enough money, and then
well, yeah,
platforms are like, oh, okay, sure, that's fine. It's good for our marketplace, I guess.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, and that's what we said. The eShop is garbage. That's why I try to go through. If it's something that looks like a cool indie title, I go through the coming soon and I tag it to my wish list. That way, when I can go back to my wish list and just see what it is. I don't have to go through. A lot of times stuff just disappears from the coming soon, and then you try to search it and it's not there anymore. It's like, what happened to it? There's been a couple games that absolutely were out 1 week on the eShop and now they're gone. I mean, to buy, and they're just gone.
I
don't
they
know.
Get buried, like you said. Just
Yeah.
in the big crowd.
Even if you search them, they're not there. It's like they've been totally removed from the eShop with no rhyme or reason. But yeah, that's
Maybe they did have a reason. Maybe it was
maybe.
a piece of junk that didn't work, and so they're like, you get it off our store.
Well, maybe. I don't know. It was Gunbird 2, and that game is actually really, really good bullet hell game, but I don't know why it was up there 1 week and gone the next. But, I don't know. It's if you go 20, there's going to be so much shovelware that's going to come in that if you have 20 or 30 indie games a week, plus your regular retail titles.
Yeah.
Listen,
I don't doubt they could easily do 20 to 30 a week. doubt that that's what's good for consumers.
Yeah.
Or gamers. Like,
Yeah,
maybe I'll have one a month that I can play that I'd want to play, but I'm not going to be able to find it in the flood of everything else.
well, you're going to have
Or it's going to be the only thing like with the Steam or some of the other marketplaces now. The only way I know about it is because I saw it on some other site or some podcast talked about it. I don't know about it from browsing the store and accidentally discover something. Oh, hey, that's cool. Maybe I'll try it. There's just no realistic way for you to be able to do that.
Well, and that's what's going to happen is you're going to get a lot of good games covered up that people just aren't going to find because it's hard to navigate and you got too many games at one time. And then what it'll end up doing is by the time somebody finds it, it'll be word of mouth and it'll be weeks after the game comes out. I don't know. It's just it seems like too much of. I hate to say too much of a good thing because it may not be a good thing. I mean, it may just be too much. Way too much.
Unique situation that they have to deal with, and hopefully that they're able to figure out something.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
This is the results of indie games are doing really good on the Switch. Gold Rush time, and now we're getting the deluge of junk of everyone trying to make a quick buck.
Yep, absolutely. Shenmue 1 and 2 remasters got release dates. It's actually coming out August 21st, which is insane because the very next week.
Mine.
Oh, I pre-ordered mine before it even had a date. But the trouble is Sega's got Shenmue coming out one week, Yakuza coming out the next. So
good summer.
Well, yeah, it's a good summer.
It's easy to play all of those.
Sure,
all small, bite-sized things.
Not time-consuming at all.
Yeah, not time-consuming at all. I think Shenmue 1's 10 to 15 hours. Shenmue 2 is 15 to 20. Yakuza's 15 to 40, depending on all the, it just depends on, Yakuza depends on if you just go through and play the story and you're done. If you don't do any of the side stuff or any of that, it's like, I don't know. I'm too great. I appreciate Sega bringing out really good quality games, but I realize they're trying to get them out before the fall rush is what it amounts to. Because I figured if they wait and bring out Yakuza later, it's going to get buried. Shenmue 1 and 2 may get buried. It may not get buried. But I mean, hey,
Shenmue 1 and 2 doesn't matter. That's not a thing that's ever going to be buried or not buried because a certain demographic is the only ones interested in that,
right.
And they're going to get it whenever. So
I'm going to get it. I'll play them at some point. I've played these games once a year for the past 15 years anyway, so it's not like that I am going to play it for a new experience or I've never played it before or something like that. I may play a few minutes of it to go, oh, wow, this looks really cool and that's really neat. Let me go play Yakuza 2 for now or, whatever. It's coming out. But, I mean, I'm glad they're coming out. They're $30. If you get the Prime discount, it's $24, I think. $25, something like that.
Yeah, after tax, it's $25 something.
Yeah, I mean, it's super cheap. Comes with a poster. Go buy it. I got my backer thing this week for Shenmue 3, wanting to know my shipping address and make sure that I was still going to get the copy.
Filled that out.
Yeah, definitely. You might want to check because...
Double check. I filled mine out.
I filled mine out the day it came because it's like, well,
I'm sure I filled it out.
Yeah, I filled mine out and thought, you know what? I think I want the physical copy.
I had that's the one that I had pre-ordered to begin with was the physical copy.
Same.
I wanted physical and digital, but if I really want the digital, I'll just buy it. But I would say if they're already sending out stuff to say, check everybody's orders and everything like that, I'm going to guess probably January, February, maybe March. Sometime the first quarter, I would think. I know it takes time to get those things pressed, but it doesn't take that long to get discs pressed anymore. It takes longer to get.
Oh no, I don't think we're gonna see it that early.
You don't think so?
No, I think it'll be late spring, early summer.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that long. I just don't. I think
it will be. Prepare yourself now.
I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's not like I don't have plenty of other stuff to play anyway. So, I'm just throwing a ball out there or throwing a dart at the board and see where it lands at this point. Just guessing. So, I figured Shenmue 1 and 2 would be out December or end of November, 1st of December, and it came out August. So, I'm not the best at guessing release dates for games. So.
If it was not quite ready yet, it probably would have been November or December just to put it in a window.
The February time frame is just so crowded now.
Yeah, it's just packing with stuff.
I don't know. I don't know what's coming out this February. I haven't seen that far ahead. I haven't looked that far ahead to see what's coming out.
It's just the second coming every year.
Maybe. I don't, like I said, I haven't looked at the release list for 2018 to see what's coming out in February right now. That's tentatively coming out for February. That's still a long ways off, so things could change.
Let's see. It's Anthem is one of them. Metro Exodus, Crackdown 3, and Days Gone are the big ones so far for February 2019.
There'll be more stuff.
I'm sure there'll probably be more. That's not too crowded, though.
But there's other things. It's not that it's just that. It's like, hey, February and other things.
Right.
Games are filling that time in now when they like a few years ago weren't. So now pretty much the only sort of drought months is just like maybe July and early August.
Yeah.
And there's still a few things that do come out then. So yeah, it's just year-round games.
Yeah, that's as always. We Happy Few is no longer banned in Australia. Good for Australia people.
Yay!
That game is. I played the. Oh, what do they call it? On Xbox, the preview or game preview or whatever it is of it. It's a different game. I liked it, but I don't know if I loved it or not. Apparently, the release date is August 10th. So again, another good time for something like a game like that to come out. And it'll be on, I believe, PC, Xbox, and now it's also going to be on PS4. So I recommend the game. It's kind of, if you're into that weird.
Well, the atmosphere of it looks cool from all the trailers.
Yeah, I mean the atmosphere is really cool, and it's a very, very different game. The preview build, and that's what I don't know. I don't know if the preview build thing that you bought, if that carries over to the full, or I don't understand how any of that works. So
who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I may have just paid whatever it was for a demo of it. And then they expect me to pay $60 for the full game, or maybe they give you a discount. I don't know.
Yeah.
Last but not least, since we were kind of talking about it last episode, Fallout 76 will not have crossplay because Sony is not very helpful, as everyone would like, is what Bethesda says. So Bethesda throwing more shade on PlayStation with their crossplay stuff.
Well, I think this is all about, hey, Fortnite stirred up a hornet's nest, so therefore people are asking about crossplay, and someone asked Todd Howard, and he was like, yeah, we'd love to, but them Sony guys, right?
Yeah,
that's what this feels like to me. It's like, let me just poke them in the ribs a little bit.
But what's funny is IGN reached out and asked Bethesda if Xbox One and PC was going to be crossplay, and Bethesda's response was that they have confirmed there is no crossplay of any type right now between.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really suspected that there would be.
No.
Especially in a game that's got shooting mechanics. No. You're not going to do crossplay between PC and Xbox or PC and console if you don't want your players to yell bloody murder.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it was. I just thought that was hilarious. It was just kind of out of left field that Todd Howard was like, we'd like to have crossplay, but Sony's not playing well with it. It's like, well, not helpful. It's like, what? What does that even have to do? I don't know, but it just goes back to what we were talking about with everybody with crossplay, wanting crossplay with Fortnite and.
Well, cross progression and crossplay is like everything at this point. It's like it started with the progression issue, and then it's just kind of in a bit, and it seems like we've been talking about it forever now.
Yeah, but apparently the other day, IGN reported that Sony had let go and allowed people to take their progression from PS4 to other systems, but then it was found out that it really didn't happen. So,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
if we say it, it's true, right? No.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, well, and that's the one thing with the Xbox is I'm still hearing rumors that they're going to bring out an adapter that'll let you play mouse and keyboard. So if you're playing a cross-play game and you want to use mouse and keyboard instead of a controller, you still I don't know if it's still.
That's a weird thing.
It is a weird thing. It's a
But
very
you
weird
can't.
thing.
I think you can. You've already been able to do sort of like weird hack versions of mouse and keyboards on both.
Yeah,
Xbox
there's like a dongle you can buy that will allow you to do this
but
and that.
officially supporting it, I don't know. That seems like an odd thing to kind of split your platform. Where a lot of people will just be on controller, but oh man, I got into the keyboard mouse player, and so therefore you're going to be screaming, "Oh, well, I lost because it was them. They had it."
Well,
Yeah, Unreal Tournament 3 on the PlayStation 3 did that, and it didn't work out very well.
yeah,
There was nobody using it.
There's
If
some
you were in
games
that,
that
you were in a
would-
room by yourself.
yeah.
Yeah, there's some games that would work out fine for the most part, and then there's other games that would just be like you would have a serious advantage with the mouse and keyboard than you would over the controller. And
Well,
people would not
it's like
that.
I've always said, go ahead and allow crossplay. Just give me the option to toggle it on and off if I don't want to play with,
I don't even care about
Well, for
crossplay.
crossplay, sure, but
cross
for if you
progression
have
is
it on
really
the same platform where some people are using one controller.
Well, yeah. I mean, I that's a whole different thing. But I mean, I was just saying about the crossplay
Yeah.
thing. Just give me the option to toggle it on and off because I may play on Switch and a lot of my friends may play on PlayStation 4 or whatever, and I would like to play X game with them. But
Yeah.
it's,
I mean,
don't-
any game that's co-op, who cares? But if it's competitive, where you're playing against other people,
Yeah.
that's where you open the big can of worms. Where some people are not going to be happy if they're playing against other people who they perceive, at the very least, to have an advantage. Most often, they probably would when aiming is involved, right? So,
Yeah, and Gears seems to be
Who
doing
knows?
real well with that. And
Yeah.
man, that I tell you what, have you seen any of that the pro tournament stuff of Gears come out this week? Holy fright. Those guys are doing some crazy stuff in Gears that I never even thought was frickin' possible till I wasn't necessarily setting down to really watch a match, but it was kind of like, oh wait, Gears is competitive now. Okay, I've got to see this because this is just like it was online or this and that. It's like, oh my gosh, how are these guys doing this with the jumping and the slamming and the locking to cover? And it's just like, yeah, those guys are playing on a whole nother plateau that I'm not even in the same plane of thinking that they're in when it comes to playing a game. They are way up here and I am way down here.
I mean, that's pretty much any quote esport, right?
Well, yeah, but
it's like, yeah, they are technically playing the same game that I can. They have way more practice at it and
Yeah.
are doing way crazier things than I can.
and that was
Whether it's League of Legends or Dota or Rocket League,
yeah.
shooters, like anything. Anybody who's doing it that much, they're going to be way better at it than me, who can only put
Yeah.
a few hours into that game.
Well, there was a lot of that stuff that I
Yeah.
was just like, I didn't even know that was possible in the game.
But that kind of makes it fun to watch, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh wow, that's cool. Just the same as watching regular sports. It's like they are just way more sophisticated and good at this thing, and that makes it fun to watch.
Right, absolutely. But it was interesting. It made me want to. Like you said, it made me want to watch more of it because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, this is what are they going to do next that'll blow my mind?
I didn't know you could do skateboarding in
Yeah.
Gears.
How
What?
did you do that? How did he? I didn't even know that was the thing. So-
Tony Hawk isn't supposed to be in Gears. How'd that happen?
what?
Someone's hacking.
Yeah, somebody's hacking. So. But no, that's all the news I've got. I would mention that we have a contest going on. It ends in roughly 24 hours. So if you're on the live stream watching right now, absolutely go to the site, check out the 150 episode 150. It's in the link there to the Gleam to sign up. I think I figured it up. There's like eight different batches of codes we're giving
Plenty of
out. And,
prizes.
yeah,
What
there's
if you?
plenty of stuff to give out. Now, if you're listening to this, tomorrow or the next day, well, I'm sorry, you missed out. You should have listened to the last episode. And the only other thing that I've got is we've opened up a Teespring store with some T-shirts and
Is that officially open now?
yes, it's
It is.
officially
I
open.
have ordered
We were-
mine.
I
We were
ordered.
testing it. I didn't know we'd open.
Yeah, I opened it up the other day and just I didn't really make a big deal out of it. I just kind of opened it
Yeah.
up and went, yeah, these look kind of cool. And I know Robert bought one. I bought me and the wife got ours. We ordered them yesterday, and the way it works is if you go on the site, it'll say at the bottom, it'll be like 3 days left until this campaign ends. That's just for the printing. It'll always be up, but they only print every 3 days if somebody buys. So, it may take a couple of, it may take a little longer to get your shirt because they make them every 3 days exactly when they're ordered in batches. So, but
is there a link on the front page of our site at all?
Not yet. Like I said, it was totally a soft launch of it, so I haven't had a chance to sit down and see what I really want to do is I really want to do a banner on the main page so people can go directly to it. But I have to put that up tonight. But yeah, there's shirts that say just the Gamers Lounge. There's shirts that say the Gamers Lounge podcast. We'll have one for the Back to Bits podcast.
They got like 10 colors a piece.
Oh yeah, I put
a lot of choices on there.
I put all the colors on there, even the ones that I thought were kind of horrible. I went ahead and just threw them on there.
Let's get clashing.
2 different mugs,
shirts.
like 4 colors a piece on those.
Yeah,
lots of options.
Yeah, eventually I'm going to do stickers. You can do stickers. You can do all kinds of different shirts.
Oh, do they do like vinyl stickers or something?
Yeah, they do vinyl stickers and do that. And there's a bunch of stuff. I was sitting in a hotel room bored the other night, so it was just like, oh hey, look at this. Me and the wife sitting there watching TV. It was like, oh look, what do you think of this? This looks pretty cool. Oh, what do you think of that? That looks pretty cool. But yeah, I can even set it up to do nicer T-shirts if somebody would prefer V-neck T-shirts. I'm not a V-neck guy, but
not me really either.
Depends on how deep the V is.
I don't want a deep V. You don't want a deep V, so your hair will, your chest hair will stick out underneath you. That was the one thing about my dad. He always wore button-up shirts, and all his shirts were from the '70s, so they had the big wide collar on them anyway.
Yeah.
So he'd wear.
I do wear a lot of polos and button-ups.
Yeah. Well, he would wear a button-up shirt, and it would only be buttoned to right about here, and so it'd be open with this big wide V-neck collar, and he had a jacket on with all his chest hair sticking out. It was hilarious to see. It was this 90-year-old men with these white chest hair hanging out, looking like he just walked out of a 1970s nightclub somewhere. It was funny. But yeah, I'm going to have way more on there. It's just a matter of sitting down and actually doing it all. So I got the new logos for the Back to Bits, the retro podcast. I'm going to throw up some shirts on that. So if you want to help us out, that's another way to help us out and show your support of the show and the site, which is really cool.
Absolutely. And of course, if you have Amazon Prime, link it up with your Twitch account. Give us that free subscription.
Yep, the free subscription.
Every little bit helps.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's all I've got. You guys got anything else?
I got one more piece of housekeeping, and that's just we finally opened up an official Instagram page.
Oh yeah,
it is The Gamers Lounge Official on Instagram with underscores between each of those words. But if you just search for that, we'll pop up there with our logo. Go ahead and subscribe to us. We're going to try and keep that active with all kinds of things, stories, updates, news about the site, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about the interest.
I'm on it a lot, so I can
Instagram. See, I don't even know how to say it, much less
the those
Insta things.
Right.
Insta things. I post pictures on there every once in a while. Yeah, just shuffle them around. It'll be fine. Everybody will figure it out. They know what I'm talking about. The Insta Twitter, is that it? The Insta Twitter, is that
That's
how
what
that
it
goes?
is. Yeah.
The Insta Winter book. Is that how it is?
Insta chat and Snapgram.
Oh,
right?
Snapgram with the face Twitter. Okay, I got you. I understand that.
It's pronounced MySpace.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Don't be coming all over MySpace and Twitter and all over my Facebook now.
That's like my favorite thing that anybody has ever said was the guy who's the energy secretary now when he was running for Senate or governor. You can always follow me on the Tweeter. So,
you're like, what?
Yep. You're always on the Tweeter. So.
Yeah.
All right, I stopped the stop the show so I could save it, but save the recording. Yeah, you can always follow me on the Twitter. So yeah, I don't do a whole lot. You were telling me all those things you could do with Instagram is like, what, really? I didn't know anything about all that with the Instagram, but I have no idea. I'm not up on the hip cool things.
I've been trying to build up my Instagram rather than the others. I figure if I focus on one.
Yeah. Well, and I do the Twitter. The only thing I really do on Twitter is I talk to people that I want to talk to, and I try to find game deals. That's about it.
Yeah.
But you know.
All I do on Instagram is post things I find. Look at this, or if I'm on vacation, or here's food. So
yeah, I post pictures on there. I do that to. So.
You can like live stream on Instagram, all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's what I saw. There's all kinds of stuff you can do like that. So, but I don't do a whole lot on it, but I do look at a lot. There's one of the guys that I follow that I met up with who's doing the Game Gear Consoleize mod. That's where he does all his stuff at. So I've been paying a little closer attention to Instagram just because that's where he's at. But other than that, I don't do a whole lot on Instagram. I think Nikki does more on Instagram than I do, and usually tags me in it, and then I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, you tag me? Well, let me just click a heart because I don't know. How do you retweet this on Instagram? I don't know how this works. Is that a thing? Is retweeting a thing on?
Sort of, kinda. You can share a post through your story.
Oh, is that how you do it? Okay, see, I didn't even know that. I don't know.
We'll have a training session.
Okay, all right. Well, you get the
Instagram boot camp.
You get the class together and tell me when to be there, and I'll have my notebook and my phone, and we'll have a learning session, and then I'll probably forget it. But it's
we'll film it. We'll record it for you.
Record it for me. That way I can always go back.
We can do it live on Instagram.
Oh god. Is that like the third dimension thing, or would we break the fourth wall if we really did that?
We've broken it.
Oh my gosh. Did you guys see Ant-Man, by the way, before we go? Did you guys see Ant-Man?
No.
Haven't seen it yet? We went and watched it this week. It is really good.
I just made Michelle watch the first one so we could go see it.
Oh.
I was thinking I'd go see it, and then I was playing with my new PC, so...
Well, okay.
That's what happened.
Okay.
I could drive over to the theater, but I want to play with this cool new toy.
You had an excuse, and that's fine. I mean, you had a very good excuse. But yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I liked how it takes place before Infinity War. So
cool. Yeah, we got to go see it. I still haven't seen Infinity War.
I haven't seen it. Oh, you haven't seen Infinity War? Just wait, it's coming out. I think the 15th of August.
You're like the one person on the planet.
There's one theater in town that still has it, only in the evenings. But my wife and I they were pretty busy, and the next weekend she's gone. So.
Sure we can still see it around here.
I tell you, we were in Columbus, and we went at 10 o'clock on Thursday morning to the...
No one was there.
There was only like 4 or 5 people there, but it was the largest movie theater I have ever been in my life. I think it seated like 250 people, and it was the recliner, fully stadium-sized. Oh my gosh, the screen was humongous. I took a picture of it. I was just so flabbergasted by how big it was. No one in my family has. Yeah, really, nobody in my family has Twitter either. So that's totally, other than my wife, that's totally my platform of choice too. I have a Facebook, but I just use it to keep up with the family. That's about all I ever do on it.
Yeah, and the thing about Facebook is I use a lot to keep track on family and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the only thing I do on Facebook. Yeah, the other day I needed to post something on the site's Facebook page. I couldn't do it. I had to call Ryan and say, Ryan, can you put that up? Because I don't know how to. Every time I try to do it, it wants to log it under mine, and I couldn't do it. It was like it wouldn't. I couldn't flip it over, and it was just like, I don't know. Yeah, but
that's why you use 2 different browsers. You have one where you have all your, and then when you click over to the other browser, that's where all the other.
If I actually set up
then they all stay logged in.
I suppose. I mean, I guess that's how you do it. I'm not good at managing things like that. I don't know. I use an app.
A computer.
Since there's an app for everything, but it's kind of hard to flip and thumb. Yeah, that's the only thing. Other thing I do on Facebook is I buy games. I'm always on Marketplace looking for games. So That's how I buy all my stuff. So, not all.
Yeah,
my
you know,
stuff,
I wish I had a well, in reference to other people in my area, I wish I had a job where I could just, you know, A, I worked in town like 5 miles away, and B, I could leave whenever, because people are like, oh no, the guy's coming to get it from me at 10 a.m. this morning. I'm sorry, I'm at work and I can't just leave.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, I guess that's the one thing that's convenient about the way I work, because if I go to a job, it's very rarely here in town. It's usually 50 miles away or 45 miles away. So it's like, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to be in this town on this day. So, you know, I'll be there in a couple hours. Just hang on to it till I get done with work, you know. You know, but, hey, you know, what are you going to do? I mean,
Yeah. Oh well.
I wish we
Some
had.
people are-
If I lived in your area and did my and got stuff off of Facebook Marketplace, I would never have a job, because that's all I would do would be sit around all day. Because I'm sure the stuff that you got on Facebook Marketplace pales in comparison to what you guys got, because you live in such a bigger area.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if you live in like Seattle, like where my brother lives. There's a lot of stuff, but it goes so fast. That he has to, like, he's like, I'm at work all day, and like if I can't get it on the way home, he's like, I miss a lot of stuff.
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
It's life, dude. There's always somebody who's faster.
Well, and, you know, and there's a lot of guys out there that do that for a living. That's all they do is they go buy old games and they flip them. So, you know.
Well,
But all
And
right.
then they sell them.
Put
it in the air.
yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate it. I know
Yeah,
Friday, if you're into retro games, I think Friday we're going to have. We're going to try to do a retro podcast. It's went from we're going to do it every other week to we're going to do it every month or every other month because of time
at least you're
schedules.
sticking
and
with
things.
it. That's the
Yeah,
important thing.
I mean that's the thing is time, work schedules, and things like that. And Danny bought a house and moved, so that took that took time and everything like that. So, but if you're into the retro stuff, check that out. We'll probably be live about 8 or 9.
Cool. I'll have to, you said Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday evening. Yeah,
Cool.
so it'll be
All right.
Friday.
I'll have some time. I'll swing in.
Okay, sounds cool.
Verbally accost you. Just kidding.
What? Huh? What? All right, guys. Thanks a lot for hanging out. We'll catch you all next time.
Till next time.